Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome once again to NoDQ&A Video, the official Q&A video series for NoDQ.com. WWE United Champions is drawing closer and a very interesting edition of Raw this week. Got a lot of questions here from spring.me/Aaron Rift, so let's get started. First one today comes from David Rogers V1. Hey Aaron, what did you think of the ending segment to this week's Raw? I personally thought it was terrible and it made the Big Show look weak. Your thoughts? And I also got a question here from Miguel960. In 2012, WWE made Big Show's ironclad contract look like it was a guarantee he could do anything he wanted with no consequences. Now they're making it seem like a normal contract. What gives, Aaron? Well, like I said, this was a very interesting edition of Raw. A lot of mixed reactions, a lot of negative feedback to this Raw. A lot of people did not like this week's show. On NoDQ.com, for the first time in over 2 months, there were more thumbs down votes for Raw than thumbs up votes. So clearly a lot of people didn't like the storyline here with the Big Show. I was bracing myself for Raw to be really bad based on the feedback, but when it was all said and done, I didn't think it was that bad. I thought Raw was a decent show. Here's the thing. I really enjoyed the acting performances. I thought Big Show, Triple H, Stephanie, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, I thought they all did a tremendous job. I thought that they were all on the top of their game. I thought that they were just really good. The problem is the writing. I just wish the writing was better. I wish it was thought out better. You know, when they were coming up with the storyline, they should have known about the whole Big Show ironclad contract situation and worked that into the storyline right away and had the whole thing make more sense. And maybe even have somebody else in that role besides Big Show. I mean, Big Show does such a great job with it, so I'm willing to overlook the whole logic hole. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely an issue for a lot of people. And, you know, Daniel Bryan getting his ass kicked every single show now. I think it's 4 or 5 in a row now. So, you know, they should have thought it out better for sure. But the performances were so good, I was still entertained by this week's Raw. All right, next one comes from James Ryan 37401. Hey Aaron, always loving No DQ, but question I have is, do you see Cody Rhodes getting a push due to him getting fired if he comes back? I would really like it if he comes back and gets pushed into being a World Heavyweight title contender. Once again, I really enjoyed the performances here. I thought Cody Rhodes did a really good job. Triple H was great as usual, being a heel. The problem is that this storyline has been done so many times before in the past. A guy gets fired, and then he comes back 2 weeks later. So because of that, it's hard to really get into the storyline, and it's not all that believable that Cody Rhodes is really fired. Although I had people asking me on Facebook, what's going to happen with Cody Rhodes now that he's fired? So I mean, there's some people that buy into it, but really, if you've been following wrestling for all these years, I mean, it would be hard to get into the storyline when you've seen guys come back so many times after being fired in storyline. Now, he is getting married. He is expected to be gone for at least a couple of weeks. When he comes back, I think he will get the big push. You know, he mentioned that the Rhodes family has never been liked by the McMahons, and they've always been buried over the years. So maybe we'll see Dusty get involved. Maybe we'll see Dustin Rhodes come back and get involved. I mean, that would be something interesting. I would like to see that. So if they do that, and you know, definitely push Cody when he comes back. And I think if he gets Dusty involved and Dustin involved, that would also help get Cody over as a babyface too. So I'm all for doing something like that. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but the fact that Cody mentioned it in the promo makes me think that that will play into his return, and then there'll be something with the Rhodes being involved. And as far as being involved in the World Heavyweight title, yeah, definitely down the line, if he comes back, gets pushed, and the fans start to get into him as a possible main event superstar, you know, I could very well see him getting into the world title picture, especially if Damien Sandow cashes it in, which is definitely looking like it's going to happen at this point, considering the fact that he's been doing all these jobs, and usually that means the guy that does all the jobs with the briefcase ends up winning the title. So they could do Cody Rhodes and Damien Sandow at some point and continue that feud. All right, this one comes from Gregory CD1. Hey Aaron, please answer in video. Instead of having The Undertaker versus Mark Henry at WrestleMania 22, don't you think it would have been a better idea to have Kurt Angle versus The Undertaker instead? They had an amazing match at No Way Out. Greg from Connecticut. Absolutely. I, to this day, still don't know what WWE was thinking when they did that match. I mean, Mark Henry had just come back from injury, and they were pushing him really hard, but he just wasn't a credible enough opponent for The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I don't think anybody bought into the idea that he could possibly end the streak. So, you know, that match didn't do anything for me personally, and I know it didn't do a lot for most of the people watching it. So, yeah, it was definitely a waste of an Undertaker WrestleMania match. And, you know, in hindsight, Kurt Angle versus Undertaker would have been a whole hell of a lot better. But, you know, sometimes things just don't work out that way. All right, next one comes from Mr. Dijon. Hi, Aaron. After watching NoDQ&A video number 348 and what you were saying about Survivor Series, do you think it would be a good idea if WWE replaced the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view with a different one and have the Elimination Chamber matches at Survivor Series? Well, WWE has a good thing going with the Elimination Chamber match being at the February pay-per-view. You know, the idea of you have the Royal Rumble winner challenging for one title, and then you have the Elimination Chamber winner challenging for the other title, although they didn't really do that this year, which is a mistake in my opinion. I like the idea that I just mentioned with the Rumble winner going for one title, Elimination Chamber winner going for the other title. So, I mean, with that format, I think the Elimination Chamber is best off as the February pay-per-view, and the buy rates for the February pay-per-view have gone up since they started doing the Elimination Chamber matches. So that seems to be a good place to put it. As far as Survivor Series goes, it's just a matter of having marquee matches on the pay-per-view and you know, making Survivor Series more special than the other pay-per-views. You don't necessarily have to have an Elimination Chamber match, but you know, maybe get rid of some of the themed pay-per-views and do Hell in a Cell at Survivor Series. That might be a better idea. All right, this one comes from James Ryan 37401. Hey Aaron, big fan, wondering on how you would fix the World Heavyweight title. I think if they made someone like John Cena or Sheamus getting it, it would give it more value because I think Del Rio is a bad fit. Well, there's an easy solution to this. You have to make the world title valued higher than the other titles. When you put the World Heavyweight title match on first or put it in the mid-card, people see it as a mid-card title. So if you want to make the World Heavyweight title more special, you have to put it in the big matches. You have to put it in either the main event or the semi-main event every time. If that means putting the title on somebody that you see as a main eventer like John Cena, then so be it. If you see Del Rio as a mid-card, if the company doesn't think that he's you know, above that upper mid-card level, then don't put the title on him, period. But yeah, I mean, it would be easy to fix the prestige of the World Heavyweight title and make it mean more, but for whatever reason, WWE hasn't done that. And you know, especially now with the brand extension pretty much over, and you know, Randy Orton's been on SmackDown, and you know, they're doing the joint house shows now with the full roster. You know, the World Heavyweight title just isn't as important as it used to be. You know, before, when you had the brand extension, the World Heavyweight title would be the main event at the house show. So because of that, WWE would put more of an emphasis on it. But you know, times are changing now, and that leads to the question: should WWE just get rid of the world title at this point and merge it with the WWE title? I don't know. You know, that might be a good idea at some point. You know, the World Heavyweight title has all that prestige going back to the NWA and WCW. So, you know, I would like them to keep it and, you know, make it just as important as the WWE title. But they're going to do what they're going to do. All right, last one today comes from Johnny Wag. Hey, Aaron, please answer in video. Since SummerSlam has been held in LA for the past 5 years, should Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania be held in the same location every year as well? I really feel that that's overkill. I don't even know if they should be doing SummerSlam in LA every year. I mean, I know why, because you they're able to mingle with the Hollywood celebrities and throw the SummerSlam parties every year. And LA is a huge market. They can jack up the ticket prices for SummerSlam. And I know going every single year to SummerSlam, they keep raising the ticket prices and they're still selling out. So WWE has a good thing with SummerSlam in LA. I don't know if they should do that with the other pay-per-views. I mean, maybe it would help Survivor Series if they did that in a big venue and did that in the same place every year. I don't really think it would make all that much of a difference. The only way I would say that you should do that is if WWE could find another major market, like, maybe do Survivor Series in Chicago every year, something like that. Maybe that would be a good idea. I don't know. All right, that'll do it for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching, and make sure you stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding Night of Champions. And another interesting thing about Raw this week is they're finally jumping on the Breaking Bad bandwagon. I thought that was funny. I guess Vince has finally tuned into AMC and is now a fan of Breaking Bad because we had all those references on Raw. So I just thought that was funny too. A little thing I wanted to mention about Raw. So, like I said, stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the latest regarding Night of Champions, and I will see you guys next time for more NoDQ&A video.